3, 2, 1. Awesome.
That is awesome.
Cool. Hello, everybody. How's it going? I'm Matt.
I'm Steve.
Pleasure to see both of you.
What? Yes, it is a pleasure to see both of us. Wait.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm just going to get all this stuff shared out. And this is going to be our Q&A session for Cyberpunk Night City, our Cyberpunk 2020 live action experience. And I'm going to make sure the entire world sees what we're doing, Steve.
The entire world.
The entire world. As much as the world that cares to see it. How about that?
That's a significantly different number.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
Okay. Yes.
Shiny.
So, hey guys, what's up? From Thomas Comerford. We are doing a Q&A session. That's what's up, Thomas. Can everybody hear us? Excellent. And we are going to get this all started real quick. And get everything shared out. So feel free to ask any questions, anything that comes to your mind. So real quick things to get out of the way. The Cyberpunk website went up with all the ticket descriptions. It includes both an online experience and deluxe tickets. It is cyberpunk.jackalope-larp.com. You can find it on our Facebook page. And what else? What am I forgetting, Steve?
Tickets go on sale this Friday?
Yes, Friday, February 1st. So don't be shy. Ask us any questions you might have about the LARP and how it's going to work. As I make sure things get shared out. And our lovely moderator is going to be Beck, and he is going to go through and make sure that you guys' questions get to us. And I'm just trying to get him started on that. So just type into the chat any questions you might have, and we will see them. So, what was the question that we wanted to begin with, Steve?
We'd already talked about tickets.
Mm-hmm.
I know there was one question I got asked about already, whether or not. Well, there were several. Let's start with. Let's just kind of go through the ticket types because I know some people were asking about different ticket types.
Yes, I think that's an excellent idea.
And then I definitely had a follow-up that I wanted to talk about as well.
I'm glad that we're as organized as ever. Okay. Visigoth online. Hey, Sam. All right, so first question that comes in. Have you guys ever worked with Mike Pondsmith himself? It looks like you secured the rights. Did you talk to him?
Yes. So Matt made those connections early on. We've had an hour-long conversation with him, and we've been working with his team this whole time. So yeah, he has given us direct guidance and feedback to make sure that we're getting this in a direction that he would be happy to see it go. You think that's an accurate?
Yeah, and he's also given us insight to make sure the stuff we're doing isn't directly contradicting any of the stuff that's coming out with Cyberpunk Red, and given us a few hints.
Right, but no spoilers or anything.
No spoilers.
Right.
Well, he's given us spoilers, but
right.
he can't give out spoilers.
No spoilers.
So no, actually, Mike Pondsmith really is liking some of the stuff. His eyes kind of lit up at that hacking simulator that we did.
He did. He seemed to like that, so that was good. I'm glad we showed him that. And by we, I mean you showed him that.
Well, you made it.
I did make it, but you showed it to him.
Remember, since style is everything in Cyberpunk, the person who shows things is the important one.
That's very true. That is very true. Yes. He has the jacket.
Yeah.
I have a pen. Yeah, good times.
You're such a...
I didn't bring any.
I have the jacket and the dragon shirt.
You do have the jacket and the dragon shirt.
My street cred is up here.
Yours is very high.
Yeah.
Mine is not that high. I wore black.
It's okay.
so that's a start.
All right, we'll get you some wraparound shades. It'll be great.
All right. Did you want to talk more about the ticket tape, or did we have a question we wanted to hit first?
Let's see. As I said, guys, any questions, go into the chat. Yes, Thomas. Mike Pondsmith is an absolute badass.
That is true.
Yeah, it is a very rare soul that will do. Who designs 2 landmark role-playing games as opposed to just, one. Because
Yes.
he did both Cyberpunk 2020 and Castle Falkenstein.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yes, I was very proud to work with him. I think it's awesome. Sounds great. All right, let's go over ticket prices real quick once I get over into there. So, why don't you talk about ticket prices, Steve?
Okay. So we're trying to do a range of ticket prices. We've got the early birds are going to obviously go first. So those are $222 a ticket, and that's your basic ticket, but at the early bird rate. The basic ticket is $256, and that. Obviously,
solo.
That's called the solo ticket. Then we have a ticket called the bonded ticket. Now, the bonded ticket will be limited in numbers. That's only $128, and what that consists of is it's a standard ticket, but it includes a requirement for 2 hours worth of an NPC shift. So 2 1-hour NPC shifts, and the reason for that is based on the original core rule book where. The concept was you could get extra stuff or you could get extra cyberware as long as you were bonded to a corporation or a gang or the military or something like that. So we wanted to incorporate that into this as well. It adds NPCs, which is a win for us, gives a discounted ticket price, which is a win for you. So that's a pretty good deal. We're also doing an input-output ticket, which is buy one, get one free. Those are $404.
It's not buy one, get one free.
You're right.
It's buy 2 at a reduced cost.
Okay, what he said.
Yeah.
So it's buy 2 at a reduced cost.
That costs $404. Are we sensing the theme here?
Yes, there might be a theme between 256, 128, and 404. But the theme gets a little more obscure, actually, as the numbers get higher. So we're also going to have a limited number of off-site players, so virtual players who are entirely playing over the internet. And we're going to have a separate kind of game master for those. A separate deal where they're going to have their own plots and storylines that are going to interact with what's going on in the real world to some extent, and those are also $128. Again, those are going to be limited.
They're going to have an opportunity to interact with the game world. They're
Yep.
going to be able to communicate with people at the game site, either over phone or on chat rooms. They'll be able to do all sorts of cool things.
Yes.
We're going to try to put I think the security cam feed for some of them.
Yes, yeah, we might have the abilities to hack into some of the live team system and be able to. I think the goal mostly is like pirate video, that kind of stuff that you can get input maybe from the players and then put something together to send back to them. And then I also want to talk about deluxe tickets. Can you scroll down a second to make sure I get all these right? So the biggest deluxe ticket is called Edge Runner, obviously. So that's $720. That's a basic ticket plus 2 nights in a hotel and some at least basic cyberware that we're going to make for you. It won't be, like
you're not going to get a full board set up.
Yeah,
you're going to get
yeah.
like a hand or a face or something.
Right. You kind of tell us the body part that you want cyberized, and we're going to get you some type of cybernetics that are going to go with it. Then there are a couple of crew sets. And the thing about crew sets is they're 4 people, but you get to... So one of the things that comes with the deluxe ticket and one of the things that comes with the group tickets are customized characters. So we're going to talk about character creation. I'll let Matt go into details on LARP Weaver here in a bit. But one of the things about custom character creation is if you're a group of 4, you kind of decide, hey, we want to be members of a gang or members of kind of way down on the chain, linked to but not exactly part of organized crime, or we want to be a poser gang, or we want to be, whatever you want to be, we're going to work with you as long as it fits within the genre to get you customized characters
and the scenario.
Yeah, and the scenario.
Yeah,
so that you get 4 people linked together that have customized characters. So that's that I think has a lot of potential, and we're pretty excited about that. And if whatever you create is interesting enough, we may have some options for making you famous, but we may or may not talk about that later. We'll just kind of leave that as a hanging tease for now. But the point there is be creative, and we might have some other opportunities with that. How much was the group one?
The group one was 1337.
All right, 1337, which is a little more obscure, but yet still significant number.
That's obscure to you.
It's obscure. It was obscure to some. Some will not recognize 1337 off the top of their head. Most of this crowd probably.
No, the next prize, the Platinum Crew.
Yeah, that one. I don't know the significance of that number. I'm sorry. I'll wait.
Got this poser here.
I know. I'm apparently.
Yeah.
Yes, I failed you.
Platinum Crew is a crew ticket with 4 tickets, but it just includes hotel rooms and everything together with it.
Right. Custom characters, 4 tickets, and 2 nights of hotel rooms.
Right. Yeah.
And that's 2,600.
Yeah.
All right. So, did I leave out any of the ticket ones?
No, you did not go over the promo campaign.
I did not talk about the promo campaign.
Yeah.
You want to talk about those?
Sure. Give me 1 second.
All right.
Doing
You're
share now.
hitting important buttons.
Yeah, I'm hitting important buttons.
All right.
Okay then. So important part about customized characters.
Yes.
Is that this is more that we assign a writer. A writer sits here, works with you guys to create a character that is going to have a good time and have an interesting time at this night on the north side at Carter Street Market.
Right.
Right. So it's all about making sure everybody fits together and everything works correctly. That's what it's all about. And you get, but the most important thing to point out about this stuff is that just because you get a custom character, you get a whole bunch of perks, you get the cyberware and all that. This is not a pay-to-win game.
No, right, no.
Yeah. You get more staff attention initially, but everybody's going to have a fully crafted out character. Everyone's going to be connected to the scenario.
Yeah, you're not necessarily going to be more powerful. You're just going to get more attention and customization, I think would be the more accurate way of saying it.
So, to cover I know you touched on the virtual tickets, so there's going to be the virtual tickets, the online players are going to have their own GMs. They're going to consist of media personalities, hackers, people on the net, things like that, who can then touch into the live game and influence it.
Yep.
As well as going in and having their own plot lines to deal with. They'll be able to put certain characters who are like media personalities or corporate execs might be able to more affect what's going on, might be able to interject things on screens that we have set up. We're going to have like a TV feed going on throughout the entire place with all these monitors set up. They're going to play in all sorts of weird, screwed up videos.
Yes.
So that's the virtual players. And then we're also going to have 2 fun things. For $64, you can get what's called the promo campaign, which we're going to we can either help you make a flyer or you can make your own flyer. We will plaster them all over the game site. So if you want to put up anything cool in the alleys of Night City or whatever for your band or for your gaming group or just because you think it would be funny, we will print those out and we'll make them part of the decor, and they'll be plastered all over the alleys of those places that we have. And if you get the Media Blitz campaign, that's $96, and we will put a video with staff approval inside the TV loop, a commercial, a skit, pirate broadcast, whatever you want. Right. You can you can inject your own stuff into there. And that's just the 2 offsite experiences, cool things. If you can't attend, you can add those to the game, and we'll set them up for you.
And the Media Blitz is what we said, 30 seconds worth of video? Is that what we said?
Well, whatever.
Or some amount?
Yeah, some amount that's appropriate.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
If they're asking us to do it, it's probably going to be less.
Oh, yeah.
But if they want to,
If you're providing something,
if they want to shoot a 15-minute pseudo sitcom that looks decent, I'll put it up there.
Yeah. If you're doing it, you can do it a lot longer than if we're doing it for you.
Yeah. If you want to be in a Zigzag commercial, we will put you in the Zigzag commercial.
Yes.
Or if you just want to put your dog in, we'll put it in.
Yes. Although they should be doing something, I don't know, put goggles on them. Or visors.
All right. So, other questions. I hope you guys saw the shots from the trailer that we put out. That site was fantastic.
Yes. Yes, we set it up, shot, and tore it down in a day. That wasn't tiring at all.
My legs.
Yes. So I know one of the questions that I've gotten a couple of times that I want to make sure that people understand is, so we talk about customized characters. What about the people who use LARP Weaver? So if you could walk them through, and we may want to do this again at the end just to make sure people hear this, because I know Peyton had some people ask her, I had some people ask me, how exactly, for those who have never done it, does the LARP Weaver software work when it comes to character creation?
Well, I think we should start with how does character creation work in a Bespoke game. So,
Yeah.
a lot of people are saying, can I go and I can make a solo character? Not quite, because this is not traditional LARP character creation.
Right.
It is not...
It's not, you don't choose a character
Yeah,
class.
you don't choose a character class, you don't assign attributes, all that. You get a LARP, we pre-write everything so that everyone has connections to each other, all these characters have something to do immediately off the bat, and immediately deal with, you're part of this group and you're interested in that thing, and you're going to, you have these goals for the night. So everything is interconnected with each other from the begin with. And the way that we determine which character you're assigned is you're asked a questionnaire. You're asked to select through a tree of possible characters, and at the end of the possible characters you get your character at the very end, and you finalize it, you name it, you're told all the other people that you're connected to, and that's all online via the LARP Weaver software after all that. So it's a very guided process where it kind of guides you to what character would be best for you to make.
Right. So Matt wrote it, and he doesn't do very well at selling his software, so I'm going to sell it for him.
Okay.
So
I'll go over here.
yeah. So it's cooler than what he made it sound. So if you're looking at this tree, you have kind of concepts at the bottom. Like you could say this is solo-esque, this is fixer-esque, but they're not. Again, it's not a character class. And then at the top, you have all these different options on your background or where you're from or your likes, and then you go down and you're adding things as you go that are unique to you, so no one else will match that. And it's not like you're picking the character Bob, you're picking this chain that's going to end up being you. And then at the bottom, we know we have X number of folks who are solo-like or fixer-like or whatever. But how you got there and everything that you built along it is individualized based on what paths you chose. So the idea, because I've done this and I was really impressed by it, that you choose your path that creates your character as you go until you have all these things. And then, like Matt said, if you picked this, then you happen to know this person, this person, this person. If you pick this, oh, well, you're affiliated with this gang, or you happen to have contacts with this thing, etc. And then when you put all of that together, so you end up with several layers worth of choices that build who you are and also have all these opportunities built in every step of the way. So what Matt said, but cooler.
Apparently I'm awesome.
Just saying.
Okay. Hi, Nicole. Yes, Farscape Studios did use LARP Weaver for their Nellies by Night game that was just last weekend, and apparently she loved it. So I guess I undersell myself.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Nathan Klinger, how long do you suppose editing on the trailer will take? It will take time.
Yeah. So the goal. Yeah. So the goal is to have it done soon. Ticket sales go on sale Friday. We'll use that as a hint as to when we would like some level of trailer. Well, what may end up happening is there may be a short trailer and then there may be a much longer trailer. because we're kind of time constrained and technology constrained right now. But soon?
Definitely, positively before the game.
Yes, that is absolutely
I'm
true.
extracting that promise from you.
That is absolutely true.
Yeah.
That is absolutely true.
I would like it to be used for advertising if possible.
Yes, so that people see it. In fact,
Yeah.
I'm going to email some people now and double check.
Tell them that there is an actual deadline.
There is an actual
There is
deadline.
an actual deadline involving
Yes.
actual time,
Yes.
and add the year this time.
And the year.
Yeah.
That would be important.
Yeah.
Yes, good point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no flexibility. We bought burnt
Yeah.
one, Steve.
The odds are that you're gonna see a really short one, and then you're gonna see a more of a full. I mean, the short one would be somewhere in the 15 to 30 second range. The longer one would be somewhere in the 1 to 3 minute range.
Probably a 15-second one too, because I live in the days of Facebook.
Did I say? I thought I said 15 to 30.
I thought I only heard 30-second.
No, I said the
That's
first.
on film if we really want to check.
Yes, yes, that's true.
Yeah.
So I meant to say whatever I did say. I meant to say 15 to 30 seconds for the first one, and then 1 to 3 minutes for the second one.
Yeah.
Unless I go straight to 1.
I think you called some of the shots we got iconic.
I did. Some of those were awesome shots. We had some really amazing people show up in some really amazing costumes, and they were really willing to throw themselves in the role. So,
I promised to give them a call out, by the way. So you might have noticed in some of the shots there was a gentleman with a mustache and beard and a woman. They're both in power armor. It looked that was very awesome and had all these blue lights lit up in it. They are JA Fantasy Art at jafantasyart.com, and they are local to the San Antonio area, I believe, and they've actually done like quality prop work and stuff, and they came by just to help out, and they did really good work.
so if you want to commission some cyberware
Yes.
or armor,
Apparently they did this stuff for like Konami and for
Yes.
various television shows and stuff. They're actually
I do not
very
doubt it.
talented.
Yeah.
Very, very talented. So Scott Cuban asks, will virtual players use LARP Weaver as well? That is up in the air. We're going to have our online GM look at that. There's going to be a very limited number of online characters. We're thinking 12, maybe.
It's 10 to 12.
Yeah, 10 to 12. So that's such a small number. They might just be doing direct reach out on that.
Right, and but dedicated GMs who are only focused on that.
Right. There's going to be 1 to 2 online GMs that do nothing but handle the online game.
Yep.
Awesome. Let's see here. Sam Bash. What effects, if any, will cyberware have in game? What types of modifications will be available?
Sure. So you want that in English?
Yes.
Some cyberware will be aesthetic only. Other cyberware will have very specific effects. So, for example, if you want to be a hacker, you have to have an interface. Now, that interface, it generally speaking, someplace to put a chip or pull a wire that you can plug into a computer. There aren't any strict rules that you have to have a functioning FizzRep that actually plugs into the computer, but if you can, that would be ideal. But something interface related allows you to do hacking, whereas people who don't have that will not be able to do hacking. Cybernetic targeting eyes and links, to limbs and hands give you a bonus in combat in both. And we should probably mention the 2 different types of combat, but there are 2 different areas of the game. So there's going to be the main market, which is mostly bespoke, and I'll let Matt chat about that a little bit. And then we're also going to have a mod area where people can do individual mods that'll be different, actually using projectile weapons that fire. So in both cases, if you have any kind of combat cyberware, it's either going to upgrade your weapon or give you a bonus to combat. If you have interface, it's going to allow you to do hacking. And then we've kind of written out some of the other common cyberware effects and what they can do. But again, and we'll have that all out in the Plot Bible / Tech Bible. What cyberware has what effects, but we're trying to give them as many effects as possible without making the game super crunchy and making it so lots of people have to remember things, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's kind of just like you get a plus. If you played in the Night in Question or similar bespoke games, when you're in the bespoke area, which is a consent-based RP area, Your combat number is an indication of whether or not you would win, and you negotiate out the results of violence with each other. When you get into the actual mission space, because there's going to be a separation, because a lot of people came in with Cyberpunk and said, unlike the Vampire the Masquerade game that we ran, there's this big focus on, I want to do missions, right? I want to go on runs. And there's going to be a type of character, not everyone. There is plenty of just social and political style play to go on, and just like interpersonal style play. But there is going to be a class of character who are either going to be fixers who set up stuff, or runners who actually go on runs. And we're going to have separate spaces away from the main game space where you load up and you can go and you do combination. You can do role play challenges, Nerf style combat, and puzzle room style challenges that require various skills. And those will have different effects, and certain like cybernetic options might have a unique effect based on the mod they're in.
Yes.
But for the most part, the combat mods just increase your combat number or your combat ability slightly for the purposes of negotiation, and beyond that, there's not a hard effect in the game world because it's still a consent-based game.
Right. Now, and in the mod / mission space, it might up-rep your gun. For example, we might take away the pistol and hand you a rifle, or take away the rifle and hand you a really fully automatic rifle.
Right.
Not that those exist, but if they did, they might exist.
They exist.
We have them.
Yes. These are LARPers. They know what kind of Nerf guns are available.
Yeah, but they've modded them even further.
Yes, they're aware.
These are grossly
Who
automatic.
do you think is doing these things?
Okay, all right. Okay.
Well, Nerf war geeks and LARPers.
Yes.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. Let's see. Scott Cuban, any social enhancing cyberware?
Oh, yeah. You want to talk about influence?
Oh, social enhancing cyberware.
Right. So the answer is...
Well, I mean, the thing is that it's RP based, so things like, I don't know, subconscious vocal modulators and stuff like that, that would be kind of a subdual effect. So,
well, what we could... So, do you want to talk about influence in general and how that's going to work?
I don't think about... Is that what he's talking about, do you think?
It could be.
Yeah.
Right? That could just translate to an influence card.
True. I mean, there's going to be... so one of the currencies of the game is you're going to have... There's this idea of an influencer in Cyberpunk 2020, of these people who have pull and push with various people.
Right. Well, like, for example, police have authority, corporations, corporate folks have, I think they just call it influence. Rocker boy types have the ability to woo big crowds. So there are several different historical cyberpunk character skills that involve influencing others that just have all different names.
But we're going to abstract that.
We're abstracting it into one big thing called influence.
Right. And you get these influence kind of chips or cards. I don't know what
we're
working on the design.
Yeah, we're still designing them.
But you can use them in various points in the game. You can basically spend them like currency and gain them by doing various tasks, which will give you these influence tokens. You can use them to change missions.
Right.
You can use them to kind of change the game world in various ways, representing that you have... You know the right people, you have the right blackmail, you do stuff like that.
Right, like you go up to a bouncer at the beginning of a mod, and you go, "Hey, don't you want to take a break right now?" And the bouncer goes, "Kiss off, you stupid cyberpunk curse word." And then you pull out an influence card and you go, "I am very important in circle," and you subtly hand it. It's not an overt thing, right? It's supposed to be a subconscious thing. And then the bouncer goes, you're right. Now that I think about it, I am about due for a break, and they leave. Right? So it's not mind control. It's just a suggestion. Because if it works between players, then if a player takes one, now they have a currency that they can later spend when they want to use influence. So again, not mind control or anything like that. But it gives you an advantage when negotiating.
So, Devin Galagos asked, do you think those who have received a role but want to experience a different part of the game, is that going to be available? For instance, say someone got a fixer role but feels like a mission would spice up their experience, would that be an option? I have zero problem with that.
Yeah, of course.
One of the design concepts we have going into Cyberpunk is this concept of a game lanes. There's like and it's like lanes on a highway. There's like the, economic sort of hustle lane. There's the mission lane. There's the interpersonal lane. There's kind of the underworld politics lane. And those, the reason we call them lanes is much like if you start off in one lane, you can shift from one lane to the other. Though obviously some characters would definitely prefer one lane to the other. But if a fixer decides that they want to come along on a mission, I don't think that's a problem.
Like, hey, we need to, I need this mission to happen, but you know what? I'm the only one who can do this piece. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, or I just want to come along for a ride.
I have this gun I've never used, and I want to test it. Sure.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Or
we're not your mom.
Or or this is personal because I was cheated by this person a long time ago. Blah blah blah. Yeah, no problem with that at all. And likewise, any kind of lane swapping, to use Matt's analogy, is totally fine.
Yeah. Sam Bash, what are the prop rules on melee and ranged weapon? As it's allowed, what stats? All ranged weapons that you bring in must be unloaded and non-functioning. If it's an airsoft weapon, batteries out, completely clear. It should be a pure prop. How did you decide how we're going to handle the Nerf guns for?
Yeah. So when you go into a mod or a mission area, all those, one of the game mechanics is going to be you're going to pick up a drop weapon, right? And then you're going to use it in this mission, and then you're going to release it again because it's going to be hot and the police are going to be looking for it.
Right.
Or a corporation is going to be looking for it, or a gang or a mob or somebody. So your normal weapon that you carry around with you, assuming you have one, is not going to be the weapon that you use in a mod. We'll provide you one, and it might have some mod specific stuff to it, like, because of the cyberware we're up revving it, or because this mission is very specific, it has to be silenced or whatever. And then you'll use it, and at the end of that mission, you'll drop it somewhere, and you'll go back into the main area again using without that actual firing weapon and with whatever prop weapon you have that doesn't do any firing. So in the main market, there's absolutely no firing of actual projectiles at all, zero. But in the mod area, that's a special contained area that people can choose to go to if they want, and have actual projectiles flying through the air.
And the conceit is that the mission provides the weapon, and you drop that weapon for a spot where they're going to be destroyed or whatever at the end of it.
Someone's going to take the evidence and destroy it, so nobody hunts you down.
Right. And if the corporation knows you have evidence of the run that they just authorized, AEG, that gun, that's a bad thing to have happen.
You become your own mission.
Yeah. Next mission is get that guy.
Right.
As far as melee weapons, like prop quality, contact safe weapons, such as the kind of knives and stuff you get from Epic Armor. In fact, if you would hand me
one of the many
one of the many things that we have.
I know where they are.
Yeah, no, I can tell by the speed at which you're launching yourself towards them.
Hey, have this axe.
Yeah, so these are the weapons we had for the night in question. We might have them for. We might use some of them for Cyberpunk Night City as well. There's no reason not to. Probably not that one. But these are contact safe latex silicone, and they're really awesome. So generally, this quality of weapon you can hand on knives, any of that kind of stuff. Fire Axe is pretty crazy for this. Yeah, hand me one of the daggers. One of those you just had. Just hand me the yeah. So these kind of knives and stuff. Things that look good, but if you hit someone with them,
it doesn't. Ow! Quit it! Ow! Quit it!
Yeah.
He's not actually cutting me. I'm not actually dying. Yet. It's a delayed reaction.
Yeah. Well, 40, 50 years?
Yes, shut up. Well, I guess that's better.
Yeah, no, that's actually quite... that's like...
that's pretty generous.
120?
I'll take it. Shut up, 120! God.
You walked into that one.
I did.
You walked into that one.
Young whippersnapper, get off my lawn! Get off my lawn!
All right.
Hopefully that answered the questions.
Okay. There was a question towards the top. Are drone pilots riggers? We had an experiment with flying a drone pilot. Flying a drone inside the warehouse space. I would not recommend it for just a random player.
Yeah, we're going to buy a drone, and we're going to fly it around. No one else should do that unless they're willing to lose their drone. Not because we're going to like intentionally smash it out of the air or anything, but there's a lot of there's probably a let's see, those are 8-foot walls, 15 feet high, so probably a 7-foot clearance
With a bunch of wires
but
and
there's
cables.
tons of wires
Yeah.
and all kinds of other crap hanging down. So I'm willing to risk it with our drone, but it's going to be dark. It's going to be lit by all kinds of weird lighting. There will be lots of stuff hanging from the ceiling. So I don't recommend that a drone be flying around unless it's ours.
Okay. Is there an update on the noodle bar? We're going to have a noodle bar.
We're going to have a noodle bar.
That is what we're saying at this point.
Yes.
Noodles will be served in some way. We'll not clarify how, because there are laws.
Yes, and but although we have a couple good contacts who have food licenses, so we're trying to get in touch with those people. I've been
one of the guys that showed up at the
we have
shooting,
like 2 or 3 people with food licenses who have started talking to us about it. So I just need to get a little more details and actually make contact, which I'm behind on doing because we were shooting video.
Yeah, that's totally what happened.
That is what happened.
Yeah.
Yes, but there will be a noodle bar.
Yes,
There will be noodles.
there will be noodles. We found a really cool dragon painting.
Yes,
At
that is
Goodwill.
true. I want a T-shirt that says "There will be noodles" now, just for no reason.
Cyberpunk Night City.
There
will
will
be
be
noodles,
noodles there.
and then there's afterwards is there were noodles.
There will be noodles.
Right.
Or just there were noodles. No, I like there will be noodles.
Sam Bash, are law enforcement characters PCs, NPCs, or both? Law enforcement in Cyberpunk 2020.
Yeah, you got that one.
Okay,
I mean,
so
I could, but go.
there may be a NCPD officer. However, you are in a outdoor market in Northside post Fourth Corporate War. To explain to normies what that means is that you are in a place which is more self-serve justice. It is definitely civilized, but kind of has a Wild West sort of feel to it.
Yeah.
NCPD shows up when something really high profile. Night City Police Department shows up when something really high profile happens, or literally everybody in the street needs to be shot.
Right. It's
Yeah.
they're effectively all they have is effectively a major crimes unit.
Yeah.
Right? They don't do patrols anymore. Or if they do patrols, they're looking for major crimes.
Yeah.
Right? There's no, oh, you littered, or hey, stop beating that person up. That's not a thing.
Yeah.
That is not a thing. If they're out because they're either looking for major crimes, they have a hint of major crimes going to happen, or they're specifically preventing major crimes.
Or some VIP needs protection.
Yeah.
But even then, it's likely the
I don't think
corporate security is involved.
corporate security will do that. They won't even do that. So yeah, think of it as if you have a riot, if you have a bunch of wealthy people getting murdered, if you have a terrorist possibility, like someone setting a bomb in a building, that's what they'll go after. 2 people stabbing, in a knife fight on the street, and they will not even turn their head.
So, all that said, there could be corporate security as or rent-a-cop style characters.
Yes.
There is the type of enforcer character, like one of the major groups we're thinking about having at this point in the market is there's something called the Carter Street Merchants Association, which is not a gang, only by the fact that they are slightly more respectable because they are the people who protect the businesses that run in Carter Street Market. And they have their own thugs. And that character is likely going to be a character.
Yep.
And NCPD will generally respond to, well, this person beat me up because I was being an asshole in his area. And they kind of have a neo-feudalist sort of idea of well, were you being an asshole? Yes. Well, you're lucky you're alive.
Right.
So, get out of here while you're still alive and get off my desk. Right. So it's very much a armed, self-serves justice sort of society. Right. Yeah.
So I guess the short version of that is PCs may have the opportunity to be in some form of law enforcement, but it won't be NCPD.
Right. I really do want to make NCPD armor, though. I don't know if we're going to be able to.
Well, we've got to get the other thing first. You know the thing. You know,
there's like 5 things.
Yeah, but the 3 people in the special armor thing.
Oh yeah. We don't have to be coy about that.
I never like to say anything till I'm positive until I've seen it.
He really wants to do Trauma Team.
I do. Trauma Team Inc. I love them so much.
Trauma Team Inc. is fantastic.
Yes.
In all possible ways.
Yes. So we want to have a Trauma Team Inc.
For those of you who don't know, Trauma Team Inc. is how health insurance works in Cyberpunk 2020, which is if you have a health monitor chip, and if something happens, if you have a gold or a platinum plan, a fucking hover car full of a 3-man team and a medic show up, shoot everybody who gets in their way, and gets you out.
Get you out and helps you.
And only you.
Only you. Yeah. Everyone else is a problem.
Yeah.
And they are perfectly willing to take out that problem to help you, the platinum card member. Because you're the platinum chip member.
Yeah.
Have a card. Platinum chip.
If you don't have a major medical incident, they will put you in one.
Right.
Will there be tonic water available? I hear it looks cool under blacklight, asked Sam Bash. I don't see why not.
I'd never heard that.
Yeah,
Tonic
I think
water
I think it does like light up because of the minerals in it. Or
I
whatever.
believe you. Tonic water under black light. I'm writing that down.
That allows us to talk about food. We're planning on having packaged food at site, including the noodle bar, so we can have like people be able to buy water and stuff. I think.
Yeah, we're still working the food logistics out because it's it's a small place and we're trying to see what we can get in. But and we'll be publishing more about that as we get closer. It will not be a surprise when you show up what's available.
Yeah, and you will be able to buy drinks at the site.
Yes, something.
Either that or at the front counter where they have
we've got to have drinks available.
Yeah. Let's see here. Are Scott Cuban, are sentient robots a thing? So you can read more about that kind of stuff in the Cyberpunk 2020 material. Our game is set in 2036, though technology has not raged quite boldly forth in this particular one, because Fourth Corporate War happened. By the way, Cyberpunk 2030X and V3 is if we're treating it as alternate timelines. Nothing of that happened. But sentient robots are not quite a thing. Artificial intelligence is. Independently operating sentient robots are not.
Having a cybernetic body that is an extremely high percentage of cybernetics,
like RoboCop style,
that's fine.
However, it tends to drive you nothing futs.
Right. There's that problem.
Yeah. Cyberpsychosis is a thing in Cyberpunk 2020.
Yes.
That's why you don't have people doing full conversions, because they tend to go sociopathically insane.
Yep.
Yeah. Basically, it's the RoboCop 2 plot.
Yes, pretty much. Yes.
Are we inferring that
no
role-playing games are derivative?
Derivative of RoboCop? No, RoboCop clearly took it from Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk was around
1989.
Crap, you're right. Okay.
If you're stealing from RoboCop for Cyberpunk stuff, you're doing your job right.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing.
I'm just saying.
It's not a bad thing, but
we ran Vampire the Masquerade. It's not like,
That's true.
Yeah. I watched The Lost Boys. I think there's something in common there.
Yeah, possibly.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Awesome. Let's see. Queen 9 and tonic water glows in the dark. I saw it used at a Star Wars experience in Vegas years ago in the cantina.
I want to go do this now. I want to experiment with this now. I'm writing it. I'm starring it.
Okay.
So
it's not like we don't have black lights.
I have tons of black lights.
Yeah, the secret to LARP design is apparently having black lights.
And a cool prop and costume director. That also helps.
True. But it's mainly black lights.
Okay, it's a combination of both.
We have 5 black lights?
We have a
considerable amount of black lights.
Yes.
All this lighting I was able to just do with stuff I had, by the way.
Literally lying around.
I'm literally lying around.
Yes.
I just realized we have the Shadowrun books behind us.
Do we?
Yeah.
I didn't. I've been.
We love Shadowrun too. We just don't have their license.
We thought about opening it like this with a pipe.
Yeah.
But no. Hello.
Yeah.
Welcome to Cyberpunk Theater. Yes. We're experiencing. Wait, hold on. Here, let's get an opinion from the crowd. So we're experimenting with props that look like cyberpunk drugs, inhalants, because apparently an actual inhaler is really hard to get. So we're looking at these right now. That's a possibility. As a possible drug, well, skipping the keyring, of course, as a possible drug delivery device for those of you who want illicit inhalants on the street or performance-enhancing drugs on the street. So this is one of the props we're looking at right now.
It flips open.
Yep.
What you can do.
And you can simulate that you are taking a puff of something probably legal.
It does have these little vials that we're going to use for drugs.
And probably not dangerous. Yes. Well, we're experimenting with different options. Yes. That is just one of them. If you have an opinion, let us know.
Yeah. Well, this is as much us getting input from you guys. Nathan Klinger, will there be characters who start the game with cyberpsychosis? No, because that makes you a rampaging, killing maniac.
Yeah, you pretty much would walk in, go crazy. You'd last about an hour.
Yeah. It's not a cool option. For Steve especially, Scott Cuban said, I've used tonic water, blacklight combo, and LARP before. It's rad.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there.
Pro tip, make Jell-O from tonic water. You will not be disappointed. You have an okay, just so you guys know, Steve has an obsession with weird sci-fi food.
No, okay, that's true.
Obsession might be overstating it. I have heard more about cyberpunk food than I want to.
That's true. That's true. I did talk about it a little too much. Yes. Okay. But yeah.
Yes.
So I won't
go on about kibble.
So there was kibble and there's prepackaged generic food. Like I really like the idea of food that's just like in a plain wrapper that says like food and that's it, or kibble or prepackaged actual edible stuff. But the idea that food is so unbelievably, unspeakably cheap in the future that it just comes in a little thing that says food. I like that idea, but I also like the noodle bar idea. So
yeah, noodle bar has to happen. We'll make that.
But the noodle bar is like the high class food.
Either that or it's like reclaimed algae bits.
Okay,
I mean, we don't know what
that's true. It could be. You're right. It could be.
We don't know what the noodles are made out of.
Yeah, it's probably not fresh anything. Yeah, not in this world.
Okay.
Oh, spare inhalers.
Yeah. Petroleum jelly also glows. Don't want to know how you know that.
Clearly,
at least not on a live feed.
Clearly as a chapstick kind of substitute.
So, fun thing about this actually is that if you do this while your lips are close to it, it actually burns the little spot on your lip.
Yes, so don't do
because
that.
it makes a spark.
All right, important safety tip. Don't do what Matt did. That is a bad plan.
Sam, if you want to bring spare inhalers as a prop, that's fine.
The problem is we need like 50 of them, and we can't figure out how to buy them wholesale.
Yeah,
or even retail. Yeah, I think they're controlled.
We're gonna make them out of PVC, though. We can make a.
It's the turn. Yeah, we talked about that too. So that is another option.
Yeah. Alrighty, don't be shy. Ask us anything you want. So let's talk about setting real quick. So, the quick rundown of when and where. One, if you guys haven't looked for it, the website is cyberpunk.jackalope-larp.com. Has some start off on the good place to look up all the ticket prices and everything. So, like we went over, there's going to be two parts to the experience. There's going to be the main game area, and then some characters will have the option of peeling off to go on missions, so we have that aspect of the game that everyone wants to do.
And we are fully aware that there may be people, and maybe a lot of people, who want to stay entirely in the main area, and we're going to have plenty of plot, and most of the focus is most of the focus, most of the plot, most of the stuff will go on in the main area, and then the runs are just for people who want to do that one extra thing that might be different. But the core of the experience is going to be in the main area.
Right. The core of the experience will be telling the story of this street market on the anniversary of the founding of Night City at this massive block party that they have every May 17th. I found out that's when Communist. So this one street, Carter Street, it's has this open air market on it, and it's populated by various characters on the north side, which is not quite a bad side of town, but it is the bad side of town.
It's a bad side of town.
Yeah, 60% of the gang violence happens there
in
the entire city.
Yeah, in that one block.
3x3 block radius.
I mean,
yeah,
that
one
one sector of town.
Yeah, that one sector of town. But this night, when they had the block party, they called Knight's Wake, which is honoring Richard Knight, the founder of Night City. Is when they have a truce between the two major crews and the gangs that work for them on that night, because so much money and so much drugs come into this area that there's a negotiation where, okay, until curfew, fine, we're not going to openly get into gunfights. Doesn't mean bad things might happen, but we're not going to flex openly during this night. So there's going to be a party going on, there's going to be music going, there's going to be merchant stalls, there's going to be fixers, there's going to be, and this is also the night of the truce, so you have people who normally couldn't get into the same room as each other can use that as cover without that going on.
And you have a lot of, upscale folks, or people who are just, not gang members, or people who are from other parts of town who are afraid of the gangs that are here, but because of the truce, they can be tourists and come in and see how the other half lives, so to speak. And slummers, yeah. Right? And also you have the opportunity for fixers to bring out their very best special thing that they've been hoarding, because they think they can get the best price for it this one night a year. So people save up, the coolest gadget, the best thing they stole, the best, drugs, food, cyberware, whatever they have, they'll save it up at least when they get close for this time of year, because that's what this market is about.
Yeah. So there's going to be a lot of interpersonal plot lines. There's also going to be media streamers and media personalities, because one of the things, Recording Systems Incorporated, which is one of the in-character recording studios, is one of the de facto sponsors of this. They low-key support it, and they're going to be looking for new artists, new voices, that sort of thing. You're going to have vid streamers, fashion streamers. One of the things we did get insight on is how the media landscape in Cyberpunk is getting updated, and we're going to reflect that in the fact that there's no longer monolithic networks. Networks kind of compete for bandwidth, and they break to live streams and do more of a kind of like YouTube breaknet now sort of thing. So you can play like a Max Headroom type character. You can play like a Twitch streamer sort of like, I'm at this awesome party and I'm going to show you how awesome I is in order to increase your street cred and stuff like that. So there's going to be people looking to do that sort of thing. There's going to be people who are just trying to run their goddamn noodle stand, but they're 20,000 euro dollars in debt.
Right. But there will be the opportunity to capture, to play medias, basically, is where we're going, is the short version of that.
Yeah.
Media-like, again, we don't have character classes.
I would say about 80% of the focus of the play is going to be in the market itself.
Yeah.
Mainly personal sort of.
Right. And even if you go off on mods of the missions, they're going to, at least most of them, are going to bring back pieces that can be used again in the market.
Right, and there's going to be some secrets and things to unfold, which we will hint at as time goes on.
Yes.
All right. So ask questions. Let's see here. If you have a 3D printer, your unit cost per prop will be really low. You think that? It depends on what you're making and how many fails you're willing to go through.
Yes. We do have. We have some options.
Yep. So, we want to go over how we're going to do character workshopping the night before. Because one of the things we learned at the night in question is trying to do character workshops, safety workshops, and the game all in one day.
Right.
Not the best option.
And there's a chance that this will change a little bit based on, because we have a hotel, and we have the hotel we have different levels of space in the hotel. So Saturday morning we have a big open space, and then Friday night they've agreed to let us, kind of use any of the common areas to kind of group together into to little organizations who can, just do character kind of connection building stuff. Like, hey, I'm a member of this gang. Who else is in that gang? Oh, them. Great. Oh, I'm a hacker. You're a hacker too. We'll do a hacker 101. We'll kind of talk through how that kind of stuff go. How to actually do the hacking. If you're a solo, you might have all kinds of contacts with the solos. If you're a fixer, how does being a fixer work? So I'm saying it like it's mechanics, but it's not. It's much more. The Friday night before is much more about meeting the people that you're supposed to have contacts with and building the relationship. So you don't just walk in cold, right? You've kind of talked through and maybe added some details to your relationship between others. And then Saturday morning will be when we do the actual safety stuff, which is a requirement. If you can't play without the safety stuff. If you were at the night in question and you went through that safety workshop, we're going to have an abbreviated version
or a war of our own.
Yeah, a what?
A war of our own.
A war of our own. Yeah, a war of our own too. Yeah. So if you did either one of those two LARPs, then we'll have an abbreviated version, but you still have to go through some level of safety briefing before you can go to the game.
Yep. And we're going to have a safety team on board.
Yes.
During the
we have a dedicated safety team.
So here's a more personal style question for Thomas Comerford. Which part of the setting you're building up most excites you guys? I feel that it's noodle related.
What? One noodle bar. I wasn't asking too much. I just wanted a noodle bar.
And kibble.
And kibble.
General food.
And generic food. I just like the food. Generic food.
He's like Scooby-Doo.
I am.
Shaggy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, so other than the noodle bar, how about we do that?
Okay.
How about we go?
I'm willing to stop talking about the noodle bar.
Right.
Okay, so what part of the setting excites you, Steve?
Well, I'm excited about the idea of what we can do audio visual wise. So one of the things that I'm really hoping that we can pull off, and I think there's a good chance of this, is a lot of visual input, right? So screens, projectors, that kind of thing. We experimented with it a little bit at the.
It looked really good too. The backlit projections and stuff.
Yeah, we experimented with it a little bit at the video shoot. I think we can refine that based on our
what we learned.
Yeah, what we learned. And Charles Bose is you don't know him, but
he's our awesome production manager.
Yeah, he's got some ideas on how to refine it, and I think with his guidance, it's going to get even a lot better. So that I am most excited about the idea of all these spots that we'll be able to have visual input coming in.
I think the set, like the creating this part of this world, is going to be a really awesome part of it. I think, because it's like you're walking. I want it so that you could just spend an hour just walking around this obvious, like, this is Night City. I'm here, and I can walk around. I can play. I can eat noodles. I can go to the arcade. I can check out everything that's going on. I can go dance. I can kind of immerse myself up in that. And
I can have my cybernetics upgraded.
Yeah, I can get I can get a cyber implant put on me at the game, which we're going to do.
I can have my liver removed.
You can have your liver removed today. I mean, it's a surviving part.
It's not on the street.
The other thing that really excites me about it is that if you read the Cyberpunk 2020 book, the emphasis is all on the edge runners and this team of absolute badasses and so forth, which is cool. I mean, it's a tabletop game. But I think that there's a lot to be said for having a game which you can have the rest. You can have the people who run the frickin' stands. You can have the people who works behind the bar. You can have the person who is having the more personal stories that you see in things like William Gibson and stuff like that, where these people obviously exist in the Cyberpunk 2020 game, but they don't they don't lend themselves to be the focus in the same way in a tabletop adventure game as you would in this story about a place. So I'm really interested in telling the story of this place for this night through the people who inhabit it. And I I really like punk as an aesthetic. I like the kind of refusing to accept the answers that you're given, and people who make their own way and have attitude and care about how they're doing things and try to save themselves more than they save the world. And this like line between cynicism and idealism that's really emblematic of punk and cyberpunk, where it's always cynical on the outside and idealistic on the inside, because the cynicism is fueled by basically thwarted idealism. And I think playing with those...
My cynicism is the smoke rising from the ashes of my burnt-out dreams.
Yeah. But there always continues to be that idealism. I think that's what makes you punk, is that you don't let it burn. Or it burns, but it never turns to ashes. Right. Yeah.
It depends. There's some cyberpunk that is...
But I'm talking about punk as an aesthetic.
Oh, yeah.
You are punk when you refuse to be burned.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
And you don't...
Or you rise from the ashes or something.
Right. No, you will write in blood on the walls if it means you get to say what you want to say.
Yes.
Right. I think that's very much part of the punk aesthetic. So I think that's really excited me to be able to explore that stuff, because I've always been interested in that kind of the punk and movement and that sort of thing. Sam Bash, how about an Anderson Cooper style embedded reporter talking to various gangs?
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, Edison Carter live and direct. It's 20 minutes in the future. Yeah. No, I mean the journalists should be streamers as much as anyone.
Yep. I mean, well, obviously, I mean, it'll either be a customized thing or we'll run it through Larkweaver. But yeah. Yeah.
No, I definitely we're planning on having various qualities of journalists too. You could have the serious like Network 54 field reporter.
Right.
You could have the Alex Jones-esque sort of barely in touch with reality type.
Fashion reporters,
that sort of thing.
Cybernetic, reporters on the latest new cyberware, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and this is a time for these people to come out, because it's an event where this is a cultural event where people can find out what's on the edge.
Yes.
All right. Keep asking questions in the chat, by the way. Let's see here. What?
Sorry, nothing.
What?
I was reading. I didn't realize that was
the noodle-related comment was actually in the field.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we're getting up on 1 hour now. So if you have any questions or whatever, we'll answer literally anything. No. Don't leave me alone out here, Steve.
All right.
So, just go over. So, tickets go on sale February 1st.
This Friday.
Yep, this Friday. The game is on May 25th, which is Memorial Day weekend.
Saturday.
Yep. And there's going to be character workshops.
Friday night. Safety workshops Saturday morning.
There you go.
We will also have the hotel. We'll have some rooms blocked off for us that you can get at a discounted rate if you use our link, which we will also be posting really soon.
Yeah,
I might even have that in my inbox now. Actually,
yeah,
I need to get you that. But yeah, there's a.
We have a website now that we could put such things up on.
Yes, so there'll be a link. So if you want to get a hotel room at the reduced rate, and it's a pretty good deal for that hotel room. We have a block of rooms, and if it fills up quickly, we can ask for more rooms. But you definitely want to do it quickly, because what's happened in the past is once that block runs out, there are only a certain number of times you can kind of extend it, and then they're like, nope, we're full now.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a cool picture. I didn't know you took that picture.
Yeah, it's almost as though I was doing my job.
It's almost like you were.
You were yelling at me half the time I was trying to take pictures, though. You're just
That's
like,
my
yeah,
job.
Well, you are a director.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, if you weren't yelling, we wouldn't know you were there.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Good point.
This is his fear.
I blend.
Yeah. Okay, so Joshua Spencer, how do you guys plan on integrating cybernetics into the rules, into the gameplay? So we answered this question a little bit earlier, but just to recap, it's going to combat stuff is either going to have a upgrade things inside the physical roleplay part of the modules and missions if you go on those, or going to do a increase in your combat number. So our drugs are going to have a similar effect, I believe. Some of the drugs.
Some of the drugs. Yep.
And then we're also going to have like certain things required for hacking,
Right.
and certain things can have very one-off effects inside modules.
Right, and this will be obvious when we publish it. This is what this does. It's perfectly all right to also have just cybernetics. We've toyed a bit with what do cybernetic eyes do. Other than targeting, I don't know if we're going to be able to accomplish anything else. We were successful with a couple of things, but not smoothly enough that I think it would pass as eyes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Thomas Cronenford, where would you look for inspiration on cybernetic prop making? The cosplay community actually does an awesome job with cyber arms with foam. Some of their foam and stuff is fantastic. If you look on Etsy, there's people who do cybernetic stuff. Also, look at the awesome Cyberpunk 2077 cosplayers. Those guys are amazing.
Yes.
I would look to any of those guys.
There's some good stuff on Etsy for inspiration.
Yes.
There's what's that video that Peyton posted like twice? The guy who did the Cyberpunk in one day.
Yeah. I think, what is it called? Demolition props or something like that.
Might be.
Yeah, but you go on, if you go onto YouTube and do like Cyberpunk outfit in one day, there's a lot of those. Lots of foam, lots of leather jackets. You can also just look around for stuff like this. This is lights for a motorcycle helmet, and it came with a battery pack and everything. This build took me about 2 hours. T-shirt took longer to arrive. I'm very happy with this shirt.
As well you should be.
Yeah. Okay. So, Scott Cuban, keep asking questions. If you don't ask questions, we're going to have to end the stream. You keep mentioning streamers. Is there sufficient Wi-Fi to allow people to stream from the game? Will that be allowed? There is good cell phone signal. There is limited Wi-Fi capability. It's in the middle of an industrial park.
Yeah.
And what bandwidth we have, we're going to have to reserve for the online players to get streams to send and receive stuff from.
Yeah, so don't count on any Wi-Fi.
Do not count on Wi-Fi, but you will have. There is good cell phone signal at the site.
Yeah.
And we're going to encourage people to stream from the site to YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, whatever. If you want to actually take photos and post them in character, that's fine. And I think we might even... We're thinking about making that like part, if you play a streamer character, like getting actual likes on your stuff in real life reflects your street cred. Let's see. Sam Bash, what are the odds of an escape from New York style scenario where one lone badass has to rescue the president? So, 250 person game, lone badass, 10,000 square feet.
President of what? Sorry.
Manhattan.
Right.
I'll work with...
The odds are that the badass would have at least 2 to 3 people with him or her.
And the escape would last 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And it would be from a sewer.
Right.
Somewhere in the combat
Right.
zone.
Yeah,
now, rescuing an executive from the combat zone, that could be one.
Rescuing someone from something, I'll leave it at that, is definitely a thing. We'll say an option, but...
It's an option.
Yes.
It's a concept, an idea.
It is a concept, it's an idea.
A perception of a quality of a thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. I have a demo. You want me to do a demo?
Oh, we have more questions.
Okay, great.
Yeah, okay. Yes, keep asking questions. We are reading them. Nathan Klinger, will there be ghosts in the net? So, funny thing. The net in 2036, which is 14 years after the corporate war.
All right, don't go into too many NDA notes, though.
No.
Okay, all right.
No.
All right, just a second.
Yeah. Okay. So, Fourth Corporate War happened, and that fucked up the net royally. In our timeline, this is done with the approval of of Artel Sorian. This is not going to necessarily be the Cyberpunk Red plotline, but in our version, the reason why the majority of hacking outside of specific areas is command line tools is because the net is fragmented and still like severely crippled by the actions of the Fourth Corporate War. One of the things that's in the Fourth Corporate War was what's called the Soul Ripper virus, which killed people and stole their personalities and made facsimiles of them that were then, several of them did escape into the net.
Yes.
So that's going on, and you have AIs and...
Yeah, the short version is the big net isn't going to be a part of this game.
Yeah.
It's there's a city net, and then if you want to do any hacking like into a corporation, you physically go to the corporation,
Yeah.
you plug into their network, and then you hack.
But the possibility of finding ghosts in the machines in the city net is possible.
It's possible.
But that would be something that you find out in the game.
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
Let's see here. An escape room style mod could be possible. I think we're taking puzzle rooms as one of the inspirations for the mods, would you say?
Yes. Well, and instead of thinking of it as puzzle rooms or combat rooms, think of it as when you go on a mod, there may be puzzle-like elements, there may be people shooting at you, there may be role-playing. It could be one of those three, two of those three, or three of those three. So any of the mods can have bits of those. Like if we say go do a thing, and you encounter obstacles along the way, those obstacles could be puzzles, people shooting at you, somebody that you have to talk your way around, for example.
It's a cool little thing where you act like a group of people trying to achieve a goal.
Yes.
Yeah.
And different people have different strengths, and they all use their strengths to help you achieve that goal.
And the fixers involved, have to judge
Yep.
what would be best for what mission based on the
Yep,
scripture.
and they have a stake in it as well.
Yep. Because if they don't succeed, they don't get paid.
Right.
Yeah. And it's bad.
And then they don't get more jobs, and anyway, it's
An unpaid fixer is not a happy fixer.
no.
I think we said at the trailer, if a solo grabs a gun, that's Tuesday. If the fixer grabs a gun, something has gone terribly wrong.
Something has gone terribly, terribly wrong.
And that's one pissed off fixer at that point.
And if a hacker grabs a gun, well, if a hacker ever needs a gun, there'll be plenty of them lying around their feet because everyone else will be dead.
Are you saying Case was not an operative?
Well,
The one weapon he had, he never used.
right.
Yeah,
That's true.
He used that. He had that little samurai, or the little ninja star.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And they constantly just hung that Chekhov's gun out, and it never happened.
Nope,
I respect Gibson for that.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's true. It's true.
yeah. Yes, teams are better than solo missions. Joshua Spencer, so less crazy VR bodysuit and more cyberdeck. Yes, I think what's the current plan for cyberdecks is...
What we have, we're going to have a program that we're going to put on either a memory card, an SD card, or a thumb drive, and either you'll bring your own laptop, which is preferred, or we'll have a few loaners lying around that represent, data hubs, and you plug data terms. Thank you, and you plug that in. You open up a program called Quest, and you open it up, and it'll have your chip on it, and what you do on it. You can get upgrades. You can upgrade your hackerware. If you get attacked through this software, your hackerware can go up or down. You can get extra software. You can sell stuff. You can sell stuff to a fixer through it. But it will track what you do. So that's going to be the bulk of it, and it's going to be mostly this kind of hacking, not necessarily this kind of hacking, but which is not to say that there will be no VR, but for the most part, assume that hacking is going to be on a keyboard.
Yeah, they're all keyboard commandos now.
Yeah.
Nathan Clear, of the current media representation of the cyberpunk genre, which ones excite and inspire you the most?
Media representation? Do you mean like movies? Or
Movies, TV, comics, I guess.
Other than the fact that There's
Black
been an
Mirror is actually really cyberpunk, like really cyberpunk. A lot of the episodes.
Yeah, I was going to say, but are you talking other than the fact that you've gone back and obsessively watched Max Headroom over and over and over again?
Okay, so of the modern ones, like current ones,
Oh, of the modern ones.
Altered
Okay.
Carbon is my favorite recent cyberpunk thing. I think the visuals on that are fantastic. The dealing with the separation and divide and so forth, especially like the early part of the episode, and also Poe is fantastic. Black Mirror has a lot of really cyberpunk elements. Android Dreams, I believe, is the one they developed based on Philip K. Dick stuff.
Right.
But
And
like,
of course, Blade Runner.
yeah, well, I mean, yeah, you're going classic. I mean,
well, both Blade
the
Runners.
new Blade Runner is really
Yeah,
good
both
too.
Blade
Actually,
Runners.
yeah.
I can't get away from
It's
that. I
just
mean,
too
that's
cl-
what. But that was my first really cybernetic.
I have to say the new
cyber
Blade
experience.
Runner is too much up in the clouds compared to like the
Yeah,
street level stuff
agreed,
of the original
agreed,
Blade Runner.
Agreed.
Visually, I think I take more from the original.
Agreed.
Also, Noodle Bar.
Agreed.
We keep going back to that.
We do. Wait, can I do a demo?
Well, I want to talk about
All right,
Max
talk-
Headroom.
All right, talk
Yeah,
about Max
yeah.
Headroom.
So, our absolute favorite cyberpunk series at this place, for two reasons. One, it was made on the cheap, and that means we look at it and say, we could do that, we could do that, and we could do that. And also because it was just brilliant in the way it dealt with media and how most of the stories were not about a group of badasses. It was about just this reporter and his team and just random people, is the Max Headroom series. The 3 seasons they did from the 1980s, where the character came from. This most known for hawking New Coke these days, but
Right.
it's actually like a strangely seditious program for his time, criticizing television and
And ads.
and
People doing anything to get their ad across.
yeah, intrusive ads and a corporation which has so much data on everybody's comings and goings is a danger to our civil liberty, and they have to use an artificial intelligence
That's
in order
totally-
to process it all.
That's totally fiction. That would
Yeah.
happen.
So, what's your favorite cyberpunk stuff besides Max Headroom,
Besides Max Headroom, besides
Blade Runner?
Blade Runner. But I really love those so much. Do I have to come up with
Those
those?
are the kind of the easy answers, though. I mean, there has to be.
Can I go with books?
Sure.
Does it have to be one of my favorite? Because I read a lot of cyberpunk for a while there. One of my favorites is this short story that I thought really summed up the darkest, grittiest part of cyberpunk, and I can't remember what the story is called, but it was about a guy who walks into a bar, and he sees this old man who's playing 3D biplane fights.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? Do you know the short story?
No, I don't.
So and the crowd loves this guy because he never loses. And so this guy challenges that guy and gets his ass waxed. And so because he got beaten, and because he admires how everyone loves this other guy, he decides no matter what, he's going to win against this guy. So he betrays his girlfriend, breaks the law, cheats, and steals just to win in a game against this other guy. And only at the end, when he finally, spoiler alert, when he finally beats this other guy,
This thing you don't know the name of.
this thing I don't know the name of, spoiler
Yeah.
alert, then, and everyone's actually angry at him because he basically just crushed their hero. And only at that point does he realize that it was all for nothing. And he did all this betrayal, all these terrible things. Like he stole drugs, he stole money for a new computer, he got new chips to boost it, he got
Is this
new
why you went to an
software.
arcade so much?
Yeah,
Okay.
that is why.
Okay.
And but he does all of this, and it's all for nothing. And in fact, it makes him worse off than he ever was before. And yeah,
That's really depressing.
it is. But it that stuck with me so much that I read that and I said, this is the darkest cyberpunk gets, and not a weapon was drawn.
Yeah.
And it was because it was just. Everything about it was, it's all about me and how I'm going to use everything for me. And then at the end, I realized that was a terrible plan, but only at the end.
Awesome. I have to say, like, we're talking about books. I really like Burning Chrome.
That was a good one.
That was a good one. I really liked. There was actually a book in I think 1969 by Brunner, I think, is the author, called Stand on Zanzibar. And I actually consider that to be proto-cyberpunk. It's all about how media influences our lives and genetic engineering in order to deal with overpopulation and these, like, dome cities that don't work and all this, like, kind of institutional failure and all that kind of stuff. So I really liked Stand on Zanzibar because it talks so much about how people processing more what is shown to them on a screen than what is actually in front of them and who they actually talk to on the street.
Interesting.
And it was very, very prophetic when it comes to that. So I really like Stand on Zanzibar. I'm obviously a fan of Gibson. I got to meet Gibson once.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not.
I got to ask him a question at Q&A.
I did not.
Would you like the story of me asking a question?
No, do tell.
Okay. So I was at Book People here in Austin, and he was having a Q&A, and I got to ask the first question. I asked him, is cyberpunk descriptive or predictive? And he said that you can never actually be predictive with science fiction. What makes cyberpunk possible is that the public's idea of what reality is always lags behind 4 or 5 years. If you talked about what is actually going on, people would think it was unrealistic.
Yeah.
So people are corporations are hiring private armies in 1979, but if you wrote about that in 1982, they would think it was completely unrealistic and reject the concept, right? Mm-hmm. So by writing Neuromancer and talking about things as being part of 20 years in the future, he gave himself the license to talk about what's actually going on right now.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's descriptive, but not quite in the way that you think.
Interesting.
I thought that was ridiculously smart, and I got him to sign my copy of Neuromancer.
Nice.
Yeah, so I win.
I met Gary Gygax. Unrelated. All right, sorry. Let's move on.
You interviewed Gary
I
Gygax.
did.
Okay,
I did
you
interview Gary.
Yeah.
I did interview Gary Gygax. Go ahead. Next.
Okay.
Moving on.
Yes, so keep asking questions or else the stream ends. We're losing eyeballs.
I want to do my demo.
Yeah. Will there be ample walls leaning against and look left? Yes.
Will there be what? Oh, yeah.
There will be ample walls to lean against while holding a gun and look left.
Hold on. Let me see if I have that picture up. We posted that
Do
picture.
your tech demo. Do your tech demo.
Oh, you want me to do the tech
I will
demo?
I will find the picture.
All right. Well, I need your help to do the tech demo.
Okay. Let's do it.
All right. So here's the tech demo. So hold this up against your chest. So back up a little bit. That's too far. It's too far. All right. So let's see if we can do this. All right. So that is the Japanese, I believe, word for noodles. So we're gonna do. Can you see this?
No, they're not going to be able to see
You
that.
can see that. How about this?
Mm-hmm.
Go closer. Closer.
Mm-hmm.
There. You
Yep.
see that?
Oh, that noodle bar.
There we go. Boy, back yours up a little. There we go. So, yeah, you can't really tell what's going on there.
Well, there's hovering 3D words.
There's hovering 3D words. See, they're not really there. They're here.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah. See, they move
Yes.
with the thing.
So, yeah, we're experimenting with AR is the point.
Yeah.
So,
You are experimenting with AR.
I am, in
Quite a
fact. I'm obsessed with technology that I barely know how to use. So, that works for me.
Well, and yet you're busy playing God.
And yet, I am.
You didn't have to do any work for it, and you're too busy asking if you could than if you should.
That's true. Too busy asking if you can do something instead of asking whether or not you should be doing something.
Absolutely. Okay, Thomas Comerford, do you guys think
here it
of
is.
cyberpunk as a subgenre of science fiction, or more of an evolution of film noir and punk that stands on its own? Yeah, by the way, that is the picture of the person standing with a gun, looking to the left. Congratulations, we are now cyberpunk.
We are now officially cyberpunk.
I think it is a subgenre of science fiction, but that doesn't mean it can't be an evolution of film noir and punk. Science fiction doesn't really branch. It's more of an octopus that grabs things and uses them in order to make things happen. So I think the idea of the criminal element and the implications of new technology on crime and on the shadowy parts of the world means that noir, there's very much a noir element and there's very much a punk element. I think noir and punk have always been closely tied together, though, because both of them talk about parts of life that you've read that are not part of polite society, and they always have this idea that the individual it is more of an individual act to determine good and evil and right and wrong and how you're going to live in your way. So, like, what's the name of Humphrey Bogart's character in Casablanca, for instance? Sam?
Yeah.
No. The piano player, Sam.
I don't remember.
But his entire thing is that he's going to live his own life by his own terms. Right?
Yes.
So there's always, I think, been a punk element in noir. And I think they're very easily joined together. And I think the science fiction alibi makes the rest of it possible.
Yes, agreed.
If you wanted me to talk about science fiction theory, I will go on way too much about it.
Yes, and then I will leave. What? I didn't say anything. All right, I'm done doing.
It's on film, Steve.
It's not film.
Yes.
Video. It's totally different. Digitals.
Who uses film, anyways?
Me.
Okay. Yes, Rhett. That's the name of the character from Casablanca.
Ah.
Yeah.
I would have had to have looked that up.
I mean, noir's the always dealt with the crime, the low life, right? The places that's not polite to talk about.
Yeah.
And cyberpunk definitely has an element of that. Noir always makes for good LARP. Like, all the noir sort of areas make for good LARP.
Yep.
Cool. So, we are up on 1 hour 30. Last question. Anyone have one last question?
Burning, deep, insightful.
Any tips on character creation? Joshua Spencer. Be open-minded?
Yeah. Well, I mean, in case you came in late, we talked a little bit about the LARP Weaver software. If you're generating something unique because you're one of the packages or the ones that gets the all the attention, probably the two biggest things are unique is good. Play to lose is always not always, but a lot of times it makes some of the best play. And
explain what that means. They might not be familiar with
that. The idea of first-time role players will make characters designed to win, right? I want the biggest gun, I want the best armor, blah, 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 blah. Role players who have been doing it a while and are more focused on the role-playing will focus on the flaws, the pain, the wounds that this person has suffered, and the potential for them to suffer in the future, and deals more with how do they integrate that into their life? How do they try and rise from that? How do they try and get better from that? Or what kind of self-destructive path are they on, and do they continue on that path, or do they branch left or right? And I think starting with the flaws as opposed to starting with the stuff that would make somebody awesome is probably going to give you the best experience at a LARP.
And feel free, make bad choices. Like, do the thing, make flawed choices. If it's way more interesting, because you only have one night to play this character.
Right.
You play this one character for one night, it's gone. Right. So play hard, and do the dumb stuff that your character would do because they're flawed emotional character. Right.
Right.
Make the bad choices. Because stories are usually collections of very bad choices.
Yes. Yes, I don't know many stories where everyone made all good choices.
Yeah, and someone once summarized that a character is always defined by what do they want and why can't they have it.
Right.
And the most interesting characters are the reason they can't have it is mostly themselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Unless there's a horrible evil Hugo Boss wearing Empire in between it, and that works.
Sure, that also works.
Yeah.
That
But
works.
that's a metaphor for the internal struggle.
Right, yeah. Let's go with that.
Yeah. 5 billion people died on that planet because you're a metaphor? Yes.
Yes. It was a big metaphor.
Yes, it was a very powerful metaphor. This metaphor can destroy entire star systems.
That's a metaphor.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Nathan Klinger, if it works like it did in Tick, I highly recommend connecting with other players that you've connected to via LARP Weaver, and that helped me a lot. Yes, actually, people, we are going to encourage, one of the parts of the Bespoke things, we encourage you to share your secrets and for you guys to make connections and come up with cool scenes and say, I want to do this with your character, I want to do that with your character. And also come up with your own relationships with people. Like, we usually don't write romantic subplots in, but if you want to have a romantic subplot with another player, you can put that out there and you can arrange it and so forth, you know, with their consent and so forth. So you can develop richer experiences so you can hit the ground running, and that's part of the character workshops on Friday as well, I think.
Yep. And we'll also have a little bit of character stuff on Saturday, too. It won't be all safety.
Yeah. Awesome. So I think that was the last question that we asked for.
I think so.
All right. So, last thoughts.
It's
Stick-
because of the blink.
Do it right.
Because of the blink. I don't have a blink.
It's cyberpunk because of the blinky. Yeah.
Okay.
So tickets go on sale February 1st, this Friday. Game is on May 25th. A hotel block is going to be available soon, and you guys can check out all the stuff at, I'm going to type it in here, cyberpunk.jackalope-larp.com is going to have all the details on everything, everywhere. So, I hope I hope to see all you guys there. There's going to be a limited number of early access tickets available.
Yes.
And
there's a limited number of early access, limited number of packages, or limited number of deluxe, limited number of cruise.
Yeah, crew tickets, yeah.
And a limited number of bonded tickets.
Yep. So be ready they're going to go on sale noon on Friday.
Yep.
Awesome.
And Matt's taking off that day, so if anything goes weird with the ticket purchasing service, he'll be right there, ready to hit the button and fix it.
I love my life.
It's not that bad. I get the jacket.
Asshole. See you guys.